Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new video in programming the finite element method using MATLAB. Now in this video, we are going to continue our work on the nodal loads, in which we are going to basically let the controller control the nodal loads and keep track of all the nodal loads that have been defined. Because as we know, we are following the MVC model view controller programming paradigm, and this is not good programming. Now, of course, I want to mention that this is part of a bigger series, a finite element method series, which I'll be linking on the top right. And if you stumbled upon this video by chance and want to see only the programming implementation of this, then there is another playlist I will be also linking on the top right, talking about the programming of this. Now, as per usual, my dear channel members are gonna have the source code available for them. However, if you are a regular viewer, then don't worry, because I don't hide any code. Everything I write here, you can write with me and have an identical code to me. Now, without further ado, let's dive into the video. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Alright, now this definition method is not something I want to do. I want to go to the str controller and give a load region instead of the load case region. The load case region seems to be small, but maybe in the future I would have more to add to that region. So for now, I will call here a loads region, which means I would have nodal load and distributed load here. I might even make every single one of those a certain region. So now here, I'm going to make a function. I will give back a load, and I'm going to call it add str nodal load. Here, of course, I need to pass in the object. He will not pass in the applied to, because the application is going to be a separate function, because you define your load first, and then you apply it later. I'm going to prepare the ID. Now I have no IDs, so I need to add it. I need to go here and call str nodal load ID. And of course, here in the database, I'm going to have str nodal loads to store any nodal load I am defining. Back to the point here, I am going to start defining my load. So first of all, I need to increment the ID. So str nodal load ID is going to equal its old one plus 1. And also, I'm going to go for ID equals the, I'm going to extract the new ID. So str nodal load ID. Now I'm going to define my load. So load equals str nodal load. It needs an ID, which I have provided, fx, fy, fz, mx, my, and mz. Then I'm going to store it. So I'll call in the object, which is the controller, .str nodal load ID. No, without loads, without ID. This equals the old str nodal loads and the new load. Fantastic. So that is how we can define a nodal load. I can put it to the test, but before I put it to the test, down below in the reporting system, I need to report all those nodal loads. So let me just copy, for example, this and paste it here and call it nodal loads. And of course here, I'm going to cycle through every single one of those nodal loads. I'm going to pick it out and I'm going to report it. Let it talk about itself. So target nodal load, and it's going to be talking about itself. Fantastic. Now let's put it to the test. I go to my main. Instead of this, I'm going to ask the controller to define it. So controller.add str nodal load. And now I will not report it because the controller will report it for me. F5, and let's take a look. Indeed, it reports the nodal loads. I think in the reporting of the nodal load, I should report it like the line. So I need to push the enter key after the report, because otherwise I would have a mishmash of sentences here and I will not be able to see anything. So here in the reporting system of the controller, it's rather better to, at the end of it, just apply a new line, like the line. So let's copy this and go here and paste. This will apply a new line after the report of a nodal load. Fantastic. Now that's not everything, because now I will also give the controller the ability to apply a nodal load to a ID and remove it. Now remember, we are going to apply the nodal loads by adding the target node ID to the list of IDs that are stored in the nodal load. What I'm saying is the str nodal load has a list that is called applied on, and this list applied on stores the IDs of the nodes upon which the load is going to be applied on. So I hope this makes sense. Now here in the controller, in the nodal loads region, I need a function that says apply nodal load. And here I don't need the object, but I need the target load and I need the applied to and end. Furthermore, I would need a function which says clear or delete. So delete nodal load. And here I'm not going to apply anything. I'm not going to pass in the object. I'm going to pass in the load and end. And here I will say load.applied to. Now this is going to be applied to, and that's going to be fine. And in the delete load, I'm going to empty the applied to. Now this is the simplest of logics you can apply. You could apply an improved logic. And here's the thing. By basically comparing the list that you pass in into the function with the list that is already available. If the ID in the new list exists in the old list, then don't take it. But if it doesn't exist, then take it. So it just adds the new IDs to the load. That's another way of doing things. And I can do that because at the moment, what happens now in the current logic is that the new list always replaces the old list. There is no appending to the list. Now, this might be a good idea, but maybe a better idea is to just append the old list with the information from the new list. And if you want to replace the old list with the new list, then you can use the delete nodal load and then use the apply nodal load function again, which would have the effect of replacing. So for I equals 0 to length of applied to, we are going to cycle through the length of applied to. And now we're going to get the index. So index or ID. And we're going to fish out the ID from the applied to. So we're going to get out the ID that has been passed through the applied to. Now I'm going to ask the question, if any of load.applied ID equals ID, so if it exists, then do nothing. If it does not exist, then append it. How do I append things? Well, we can just copy this and just paste it here and append by adding comma and the ID you want to append to. Once again, this might not be the best and cost-effective way of doing things, but this is the first try. I might revisit this if I feel that it takes too much time in implementation. So we need to try this. My error sensors are still tingling because I don't think it will hold the values, because it passes the load by value. If you want the load to be passed by reference, you have to inherit from the class handle, and now this should be working. So let's give it a spin. Now we have in the controller, we have defined the load, this one, but we haven't applied it anywhere. So now I'm gonna ask the controller to apply the nodal load to a list of IDs 1, 3, and 4. Just generic IDs, just to test the waters here. So I'll push the F5 and see what happens, if there is an error or not. There is an error. Okay, what's the error? It seems the error is here. Let's take a look on that. It says the indices must be positive integers or values. This is a relic from my programming from the C#. I started at 0, despite the fact that all the loops in MATLAB start at 1. That's a relic of me knowing how C# works. Let's push F5 again and see if there are any errors. It says here it's unrecognized method property applied ID. Well, the problem here seems to be that I did not say applied to, but said applied ID. Now that's not applied ID, it's applied to. For some reason, I'm blundering a lot of programming today. Let's try it again and see if this one works. And this one has indeed worked. I'm interested in the reporting system. You can see that nodal load 1 now is applied on 1, 3, 4, which is exactly what I added here. Now I'm going to ask the controller to delete the nodal loads. So here I'm going to pass nodal load 1, which means I will basically remove the applied to, and it should remove. Let's take a look. And indeed, the applied to is empty now. So what happens if instead of deleting, I try to modify it? So controller.apply nodal load. So now I'm going to apply nodal load 1, but this time I'm going to apply it to 1, 2, 3, and 5. Now what I'm expecting is, the behavior I wanted it to be, is that it will compare those values with the already applied, and if this is already applied, it will skip it, and so on. So my expectation is going to be, the answer would be 1, 3, 4, 2, 5. So let's see if that works. F5. And the answer is indeed 1, 3, 4, 2, 5, exactly as I wanted it to be. I could sort it. Like I could go to the controller here and sort that thing. I think it works. Let me try. In the end, better. So in the end of all this entire dilemma, I could say load.applied2 equals sort of load.applied2, I think. This is just an extra thing. I want to see if it works or not. So let's take a look. And indeed, it gets sorted. So after application, it gets sorted. The reason why I didn't sort in the beginning, because I wanted to show you the logic in action, and now I'm sorting it because I'm finalizing things. So yeah, I think we've done something great today, and that's everything I wanted to talk about today. I hope you enjoyed. In the end, I want to give a improved Nodal load sized shout out to my dear channel members in the contributor level and the helper level whose names are going to be shown on the screen. I want to thank them from the bottom of my heart, as their support to the channel is priceless to me and enables me to provide you with videos hopefully on time and with a certain quality I try to achieve, and for that I am forever thankful. In the end, I hope that you enjoyed the video and you found it beneficial. If you have enjoyed the video, then please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, and so on, especially subscribing because it helps increase the reach of my channel. As per usual, this is the Civil Engineering Essentials channel, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye bye.